Hey guys, today is another perfume video and we're going to talk about an interesting addition to Stella McCartney's range, and this is another Stella and this is called Stella Peony Eau de Toilette. This one I have acquired in combination with my old favorite, which is the original Stella, which I hear is reformulated, so stay tuned. I'll be talking about whether I feel like it's a different scent or not. But it came in a duo with the Peony, which I wasn't really going to buy. But I was really happy to have tried, and I have opinions. This is an empty at this point, so I've given it a ton of wear this past month. I had really focused on using this pretty diligently, and I formed a very solid opinion about it. So let's sink our teeth into this little guy. The Peony fragrance is a 2017 release. Stella McCartney, in a press release, or whoever's writing their press releases, I guess, is really talking about having it remind you of very fresh English garden, and hence why Peony is really the star of the show here. I agree. I would classify this fragrance as a floral woody. The interesting part of it has to do with the fact that it does have some black pepper sprinkled onto it, which is its saving grace in my opinion. Let's talk about the nose. The nose of this fragrance is actually a very established perfume creator. His name is Alberto Morelos. He is probably known to you, or at least his creations are known to you, because I'm going to go through some of the stuff that he had made, and he has an extensive resume of fragrance creation with a variety of fragrance houses, but I'll just underline his most successful launches, in my opinion, most successful, of course. He has been working with Amouage, Angel Schlesser. He's been working with Avon a little bit. He is pretty much the nose of all Bulgari Omnias and a lot of the range for males. Goldia is his. Pretty much all of the Omnias are his. Rose Goldia is his as well. By Kilian, he's made quite a few scents for By Kilian, with his most recent work being Good Girl Gone Bad Extreme. He is the nose behind that. He's made the Scarlet for Cacharel. That's a pretty popular fragrance. A whole lot of Calvin Klein, including the 1994 CK1, which is one of the most iconic fragrances of 20th century, really. Some Cartier. If you know Le Baiser de Dragon is his creation as well in 2003. He made the Eau de Vin for Caudalie, if you know that fragrance. That's, I think, a little gem. Some stuff for Chopard, Colister. He made the Intuition and Pleasures for Estee Lauder. Those were huge, both of them. He made a lot of Giorgio Armani scents, including Sensi, which was also a huge hit. He made a lot of Givenchy fragrances, and Haute Couture is one of his creations, and that was a smash hit, sold out, like really good commercial success, very sweet. In 2017, he made Gucci Bloom. He made a lot of Issey Miyake, and all of the Le's, or a lot of the Le's, that was his. Kenzo, I was really surprised to see that and super happy, because Kenzo line, I think, is a really nicely curated line. He made Flower by Kenzo and a lot of the subsequent flankers. Summer by Kenzo he made in 2005, and that's, if you know my channel, you know, that's one of my summer favorites. I love that scent. So Lancôme Miracle, or Miracle, that was his. Some Lanvin, some fragrances for Le Labo, and he made the whole Daisy line from Marc Jacobs, which for me is not my favorite kind of scent. It is the same type of scent, just in a sweeter realm that Stella is, but I think Stella is far more interesting than any of the Daisies, but that's probably his biggest commercial success to date. This is huge. Up to 2017, he's been making stuff for Daisy, for the Daisy line from Marc Jacobs. He also is known for a lot of niche work, Mise en Cire. He's collaborated a lot with them. He made a lot of scents for them. Very beautiful line. He made two fragrances from the Narciso Rodriguez line that I really don't like, which is Essence and Essence Iridescent in 2009 and 2010. They were my least favorite Narciso Rodriguez scents ever. He did make Mademoiselle Ricci and the Mademoiselle Ricci Le Penhaligon's. He made two of some of the most beautiful perfumes I've ever smelled, and I'm coveting after them. Iris Prima, which is one of my favorite irises ever, and The Tragedy of Lord George, which has the coolest packaging. Just look it up, The Tragedy of Lord George by Penhaligon's. Look up the packaging. You will die for the bottle. I think it's a really cool bottle. He made the Midnight Romance for Ralph Lauren, a lot of fragrances for Salvador Dali, for Salvatore Ferragamo, some Valentino fragrances, some Versace fragrances. By the way, Bright Crystal is his baby. So is Eros, which is really, really popular right now. For Yves Saint Laurent, he's the one who made Belle d'Opium, so the 2010 release, before I think the Black Opium came to be, and I like the Belle d'Opium much more. And some fragrances for Zara. Anyway, he's done a lot. Basically, all I'm saying is, you know this perfumer because you're likely smelled some of the things that I've called out today. What do I think about Stella though? I think if there wasn't a sprinkling of black pepper, this would be the most boring floral with woody undertones ever. But the slight addition of something a little bit spicier, something with a little bit more zing, really is a saving grace for this fragrance. There's a lot of pink peony. This is very soft and very feminine, and it kind of has a little bit of a bipolar thing happening, because with that juicy, girly peony that is in here, that is really what the whole deal is revolving around. You have cedar, which is a little bit more masculine in character, a little bit more austere, a little bit more down to the point, not so fluffy and happy. And you have the pepper that gives it a zing, just character, personality, a burst of energy. There are some other florals here. There's some citrus that I can definitely tell is there. Some geranium as well, slightly spicier floral, but not to the point where it's kind of gross. This is a very beautiful, very clean, uplifting, crystal clear scent. Imagine just hitting crystal with a metal spoon. That's the sound that this fragrance makes in my brain when I wear it. It's very clean. It's very fresh. You know, sometimes when I'm discussing floral scents, I talk about this slightly melancholic, very romantic 18th century young lady who's reading romance novels at the alcove on her, like around her bay window, and looking out into the garden, or a rainy day, or whatever, you know, some kind of a very romantic and soft notion. Stella is not that. Stella is a girl in the garden reading a book, yes, but Stella, oh, she has some spunk. Stella has a personality. She's running around that garden barefoot. Her feet are a little bit dirty. There's a touch of patchouli in here. And her hair not maybe a little bit messed up. She's sitting on a old garden bench under a maple tree perhaps, and reading an adventure book. She's fun. She's gonna turn out to be a really, really classy, down-to-earth lady eventually, but right now she is a little bit of a tomboy. She's fun. She plays ball. She's full of life. And so is Stella. Stella is a burst of freshness. I was really weirded out when I saw this released in the fall 2017, because I'm like, but why? Really? This is a spring release to me. Why didn't they release it in the spring is a mystery, but you know, they know best, whatever. But I think this is a spring scent, which is why I've used it now in spring, and it really super fits. Spring, maybe summer. It's very fresh. There's not so much sweetness, you know. Florals tend to have a little bit too sweet of a background that just gives you a little, that's a little too much. Not here. Here you do not have that sort of suffocating sweetness. It is a fresh flower. It is a flower with stems and green leaves, and maybe the juice of the flower mucks up your hand just a little bit, but the cedar and the black pepper combination are really what gives it lots of personality. Now, do I think this is a very, very, very unique woody floral? No. I distinctly remember having a fragrance that created a very similar effect, and that was about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was one of the YSL Elle flankers. This reminds me of that fragrance quite a lot. I don't think this is a particularly unique idea. I think it's a well-constructed fragrance. It does have very decent longevity. It does have very good staying power. However, do I think this is very special? Not so much. I don't think it's super unique. I do think you can find similar things around. I do think this is a very nice composition. And if you are into very, very airy and fun and non-committal floral woody fragrances, you like the idea of just a little bit of black pepper and you don't like florals that are very sweet, this is going to be actually really good for you. And I do think that is a pretty decent spring and summer fragrance. However, in the end, like if we're just drawing a line and calculating the totals, is this going to be a full bottle worthy purchase for me? No, I don't think so. Maybe I'll think about it, but for now, I haven't felt like I fell in love with this fragrance. I did feel like it told me a story, in contrast to Elizabeth and James Nirvana, which is in white, which is also a peony scent. This has a lot more to offer. If you want a peony scent and you don't mind a little bit of spunk in your scent, a little bit of personality, then I would recommend Stella over Elizabeth and James any day. And I think it's a fun scent, but I'm just not sure that it's special enough to have a full bottle place in my collection. However, I do reserve a right to change my opinion in the future. Let me know if you've tried Stella Peony, and if so, what did you think of it? It doesn't fit into the whole sweet floral category, which is the more popular kind of florals that are floating around, and new releases really tend to focus. If it's a commercially successful fragrance, they are all sweet fragrances, which you know how I feel about. But Stella is good and interesting, and it's playful. It's a playful scent. It's not a sexy scent. It's a very playful, lighthearted, good-natured, and with a squint in the eye kind of scent. Tell me if you've tried it and tell me what your thoughts were. The reviews weren't all very positive for this fragrance, but for me, it actually gets a pretty decent marks. I'm not gonna probably buy the full size of it, but I did enjoy it and I did think it was fun. And I do think that it is a very likable scent that would make a really great gift, because I don't think anybody would hate this. I don't think too many people will absolutely love it, but I don't think it's a hateable fragrance. I don't think there's much objectionable about it. So I think it's a pretty safe gift, actually. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have a good day. See you later. Bye.